Alright, I'm back. We're looking at, mine's going to look different because I made copies of what y'all were doing. Alright, so we're at page 254, talking about converting units of liquid volume. Liquid volume is the same as when we're talking about capacity. Okay, so our top question says, Julie, see, even here, the document camera doesn't like me. Alright, let's do this. Okay, so we have Julie made 4 liters of orange juice. How many milliliters of orange juice did Julie make? Alright, so we're going to code. We've got 4 liters. We want to convert that to millimeters. Why do we need to convert that? Remember what we talked about when we have different units. We need to make all those units the same. Like we weren't able to work with, think back to Monday when we were doing time, the minutes and seconds. I can't compare 5 minutes to 240 seconds because they're different types of units. And so we needed to convert the minutes to seconds. Same thing here. We have 2 different units of measurement. We have liters and we have milliliters. We need to convert those 4 liters to milliliters. They give you this great visual. Each beaker shows that 1 liter is equal to 1,000 millimeters. We already went over that in our chart, which you can't really see that. Let me see if I can't. I don't know how well that's going to come through. But we just talked about that in our chart. So we can just say, we know that 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters. So if we have 4 liters, we can use repeated addition. And we can just add all those thousands together. 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 1,000 equals 4,000 millimeters. And they also give you another chart down here. We went up to 3, but this has 4 and 5, so that's great. I'm sorry if I'm rushing, guys. I'm a little tired today. It's been a long week already trying to work with all of this technology, and I'm just a little bogged down, that's all. I'm sure you guys are feeling it too, but we're going to make it through this hump day, and we're going to come back tomorrow even stronger than the day before. So it says, number 9, look at the picture of the beakers. How many milliliters are in 1 liter? Well, they told us 1 liter was the same as 1,000 milliliters. 1,000. Don't forget to put your unit of measurement off to the side, okay? Little m, big L. Look at the number pairs in each column of the table. Each number of milliliters is how many times the number of liters. Let me pause that for a second. Hang on, guys. Sorry about that. I had to pause it for a second. Going back to number 10, look at the number pairs in each column of the table. Each number of milliliters is how many times the number of liters. Well, 1 liter, or 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters. So milliliters are 1,000 times the number of liters. So let's go ahead and write that out. Oops. The number is 1,000 times, what unit we were working with? We were working with liters. The number is 1,000 times, not big. Remember, we're not saying bigger. We are simply saying it's 1,000 times the number. So, all that's saying is that when we're looking at these numbers side by side, this number is 1,000 times 1 liter. Write an equation and we're in like part B. Write an equation to describe the relationship between each pair of numbers in the table. So when we're saying that, we just write our formula. We have 1,000, or we have L times 1,000, because that's the formula that we used to finish our table, and it's what we will continue to use. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry guys, I am just tired today. I need to wake up. Wake up, Miss Hotchkiss. I'm up. Use the equation to find the number of milliliters in 4 liters. So we're going to do the same thing we were doing on our chart. We're going to replace that L with the amount of liters that they gave us, 4. And we're going to multiply that by 1,000, because there's 1,000 milliliters per liters, and we have 4 liters here. You can also look at it as a bar model if that helps you at all. We have 4 groups, 1, 2, 3, 4. Each group has 1,000. And you can use repeated addition, or you can just multiply it out and find that there are 4,000 milliliters in 4 liters. I almost skipped. How many milliliters of orange juice did Julie make? Well, there's the answer, 4,000. Explain why the number of, is it still going? Okay. Explain why the number of milliliters is always greater than the number of liters for each number pair in the table. You have to think of this in terms of size, all right? When you think of a liter, think of your 2-liter sodas, or some sodas come in liter bottles these days, but they're like this. A milliliter is like this. It's like a little droplet. So it's going to take a lot more milliliters to fill up that liter bottle, okay? So we can use race by canceling out our question words and saying the number of milliliters is always greater than the number of liters for each number in the table, because it takes more milliliters, and I'm just going to use the abbreviation, that way we might get used to using that abbreviation. It takes more milliliters to fill a liter bottle. And I'll take that. If you have something else, you can always comment it on the video. I would love to hear what you came up with on your own. Alright, moving on to the try it. Let me finagle. I'm kind of excited that I got the document cam working, because I was kind of getting aggravated going back and forth with screenshots. We will see how well this works though. Alright, we have A1 bought 3 liters of apple juice. He plans to drink all of it in 6 days. Drinking the same amount each day, how many milliliters will A1 drink each day? Well, let's make up a bar model. Alright, so we're going to have 6 days. I'm going to just stretch her out a little bit. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll just kind of add him on just for giggles. Alright, inside each day, alright, he's going to drink the same amount each day. How many milliliters will he? Hang on. A1 bought 3 liters of apple juice. He plans biscuits. I'm going to keep going. I lost my train of thought, and I was going to cancel the video out, but we're just going to keep going. I told you I'm tired today. I am tired. Alright, So he plans to drink all of it in 6 days. I see why I got myself confused. We're going to have to convert this to milliliters first. So we know that there are 1,000 milliliters per each of these liters, and we have 3 liters. So we can just say 3 times 1,000 equals 3,000. Well, then we want to take that 3,000 and we want to break it up into 6 days. When we break things up, we are going to use the operation of division. Woo woo. So we're going to say 6 days divided by 3,000 milliliters of apple juice. 6 goes into 3, it can't. 6 goes into 30 though, 5 times. 5 times 6 is 30. Carry the zeros all the way down, 0, 0, so it's 500. 500 milliliters per day. So that was a little bit of a multi-step process. First, we had to take those liters out and we had to convert them to milliliters. Alright, then we took those milliliters and we divided them up by 6 days. We said 6 doesn't go into 3, so 6 can go into 30 5 times. 5 times 6 is 30, and we only had zeros back here, so all I did was I brought the zeros up because it's just going to repeat itself. Alright, looking at number 14. Aaliyah made 8 quarts of punch for a party. Make a table or write an equation to find the number of cups of punch she has. It gives us this key. Now remember, quarts and cups are U.S. customary forms of measurement for capacity or liquid volume. So we're not working in the metric system right now. We're working in U.S. customary system. But they gave us a key that tells us 1 quart equals 4 cups. So my equation would look like a quart times 4. Okay? Well, how many quarts do we have? We have 8 quarts. So we're going to replace that Q with the 8. 8 times 4, because that's how many cups are in each of those quarts, is 32, and we're converting to cups. So we have to put our unit of measurement there. Our answer is 32 cups. If you wanted to do a bar model, you would just simply say, all right, here's our bar. We have 8 quarts, so we have 8 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we'll just add 1 over there, 8. And each of these is equivalent to 1 quart, and 1 quart is the same as 4 cups. So we're going to put 4 in each of our groups. And we can go through and we can use repeated addition, or you could just simply make the multiplication sentence from that. Alrighty. When I come back, we're going to start on the practice book. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I am so sorry that this part was late. My laptop had died, and that's how I've been working this document camera. But anywho, we're back on. This is still working in day 3, looking at page 253 through 254 in the practice book. So, let's see. I know you guys like to. There we go. Alright, now that the computer is working the way it should. Alright, Josie made 4 quarts of iced tea for a family picnic. Her sister made 14 cups of punch for the picnic. Who made a greater amount of beverage? Remember, beverages just means drink. So I'm going to code real quick. I have 4 quarts for Josie, and her sister made 14 cups. Now, quarts and cups are U.S. customary forms of measurement for capacity or liquid volume. And so, if you look, we already know we have 2 different kinds of units of measurement here. So we are definitely going to have to convert. The example gives us a conversion chart. 1 quart is the same as 4 cups. So this 4 is going to be our number we're going to put in for our formula. Our formula is going to be Q, and we're going from big to small because we're looking at 4 quarts. We want to get that down to cups. So we're going to multiply, all right? And each group of quarts is going to have 4 cups in it. If we use the table to convert, 4 quarts is equal to 16. You can also input it into your formula. Replace the Q with the 4. 4 times 4 equals 16. So Josie made 4 quarts or 16 cups of iced tea, while her sister only made 14 cups of punch, so Josie made the most beverage or drink. Going down here, starting with number 1, the soccer coach has a container that holds 5 liters of water. How many milliliters of water does the container hold? This is important. I'm going to go ahead and underline this, and I'm going to kind of highlight my question here just so I know what I'm looking for. We already had a formula for liters to milliliters. If you remember, it was liters times 1,000. We want to know how many are in 5. Well, let's start finishing this table up, okay? We're going to input 2 as our liters, and we're going to multiply that by 1,000. 2 times 1 is 2, and we have 3 zeros. We already have it for 3. So let's do 4, input 4 into our formula. 4 times 1,000 equals 4 times 1 is 4, and we have 3 zeros. And then finally our answer that we're looking for, 5 times 1,000, 5 times 1 is 5, followed by 3 zeros. So the container holds 5,000. Don't forget to put your unit of measurement in there so people know what you are talking about. 5,000 milliliters of water. All right. Number 2, write an expression that shows how to convert liters to milliliters. Oh, we already did that. Use L to stand for the number of liters. L times 1,000. 3, convert the units of liquid volume. So we have 6 liters. We can look up at our table on this one and kind of infer that 6 liters is going to be the same as 6,000. Just looking at our pattern, we go up 1,000 each time we go up a liter. And then it has a half a liter is how many milliliters? Well, the trick to this one is, well, what's half of 1,000? What's half of 1,000? You can divide 1,000 by 2 to find out. 2 goes into 10 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10. We subtract, bring down, and we just have a bunch of zeros, so we're just going to zero it out. So a half a liter is the same as 500 milliliters. This is the back of the page. Number 4. Carla had 2 liters of juice to share. She and her 3 friends each drank an equal amount of juice. How many milliliters of juice did each friend have? Go through. This is important. Carla's 2 liters, and she has 3 friends that drank an equal amount. Alright, so our first step here is to convert these liters into milliliters. Alright, we can go back to our chart, and it's already there for us. 2 liters is the same as saying 2,000 milliliters. Now, she and her friends, which she has 3, each drank an equal amount of juice. So we need to divide this juice up. I'm going to kind of move this over so I have a little bit more room. So we have 2,000, and we're going to divide it by, she has 3 friends, but you don't want to forget her. So even though she has 3 friends, we're really splitting this juice up how many times? 4 times. We don't want to forget about Carla. So how many milliliters of juice did each friend have? Let's divide it out. 4 can't go into 2, so we're going to go to the next place value. 4 divided by 20 is 5. 5 times 4 is 20. Zero it out, and then we just got to bring these zeros down. Boom. Each friend had 500 500, make sure you put that unit of measurement in there, milliliters of juice. Beautiful. Number 5. Theo filled up a 3-liter watering can to water the garden. He has 750 milliliters of water left in the watering can. How many milliliters of water did Theo use? Well, he started with 3 liters, and he was left with 750. Our first step is to make all of our units of measurement the same. So we're going to take those liters and we're going to change them into milliliters. We can look at our chart and say 3 liters is the same as 3,000 milliliters. Make sure you put that unit of measurement in there. And he has 750 milliliters left. That's a subtraction word. That's a difference. And so we're going to subtract. We're going to subtract 3,000 milliliters from 750 milliliters. Remember to borrow. All right. We're not going to give a whole 10 to this, though, because we have to keep going. So we're just going to make that a 9. We got to keep going, so that's a 9. And then, oh, nope, we don't have to keep going. That's a 0. Miss Hotchkiss, wake up. All right, so we have 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 7 is 2. And then we bring down that 2, bring down our 0. We have 2,250 milliliters that we used, or that Theo used, to water the garden. Number 6. I always want to give you at least one left to do on your own, so let me pick. Which one do I want to do? We'll do this one. A small bottle contains 2 cups of juice. Do 5 small bottles of juice have a greater amount of juice than a 1-quart bottle of juice? Explain. So we're talking about quarts and cups, so this is U.S. customary. They give us our key, 1 quart equals 4 cups. Let's go through. We got a small bottle that contains 2 cups of juice. The question says, do 5 small bottles of juice have a greater amount than 1 quart? So we need to take 1 quart, and we know that 1 quart is equal to 4. But we want to know if 5 small bottles. So let's make our bar model. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And these are, we're going to say that these are, our groups. Each of these groups has 2 cups in it. Okay. If a 1 quart bottle has 4 cups in it, if we have 5 small bottles of juice, we can skip count, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 equals 10 cups. And this is the juice. Small bottles. Small juice. There we go. Always try and label, that way you don't get confused with what you had just done. So 1 quart is actually less than 10 cups. So the small juice has more. I should say the 5 small juices have more. There we go. And then I'm going to leave number 7 on y'all. Let's do our review real quick. We have multiplication. Oop, what happened? We're doing MAFS.4.NBT multiplication. Here's our standards. Let's jump right into it. That way I can get day 4 uploaded. Alright. Number 1. Select the statement that represents 45 equals 5 times 9. This is going back to October, when we were saying, okay, if I have 3 times 2, I can write a word problem that says, I have 3 video games, and Kara has 2 times as many video games as I do. Alright, that's all we're looking at. So our multiplication sentence says 45 equals 5 times 9. Let's read number A. A says, Pat collected 5 cars one year and 9 cars the next year. Well, that's not him multiplying. That's not him getting groups. Each car is its own thing. So that's actually an addition. So we're going to cross that off. We have B. Pat collected 5 cars each year for 9 years. How many cars would he have at the end? That could work. Let's keep reading. We'll leave that one alone just to make sure. Pat had a collection of 45 cars and gave 9 of them away. That's a subtraction sentence. And D, Pat has a collection of 5 cars and increased the number of cars by 45. No, increased is an addition. So B is our answer. Pat collected 5 cars each year for 9 years. Number 2, Pat has 7 times as many model cars as John. I'll read that again. Pat has 7 times as many model cars as John. John has 3 model cars. Create a multiplication equation that represents the situation. So we have 7 times, right? 7 times. And John has 3. Multiplication sentence. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. Alrighty, this is a multi-select response, meaning we're going to have more than one answer. Pat has 14 times as many model cars as John. John has 7 model cars. Select the expression that shows how many cars Pat has. Well, we have 14 times 7. There we go. Remember, when we see parentheses and we don't have an operation in between, that is to infer that that is a multiplication problem. We have 7 times 14. Is it 14 plus 7? No. 7 plus 14, that's not going to give you the same answer. And this one is implying that you can use the distributive property. But does that give you what the answer that you should get? No. No. Alright, number 4. Johnny has 20 marbles. Mark has 7 times as many marbles as Johnny. How many marbles does Mark have? Well, 7 times as many as Johnny. Johnny had 20. And we can solve this by simply saying 7 times 2 is 14. And we have 1 0. So 140 marbles. Number 5. Johnny has 40 marbles. Mark has 10 marbles. If Johnny has 10 times as many marbles as Mark, write an equation that shows how many marbles Mark has. So let's break this down. It's wanting us just to do an equation. We're not solving, we're just writing an equation. So Johnny has 40 marbles. Mark has 10 marbles. If Johnny has 10 times as many marbles as Mark, so Johnny has 10 times as many marbles as Mark, Johnny has 40 marbles, so how many marbles could Mark have? 4, because that's the only way that we can go back and Johnny still get 40 marbles. Number 6. Jack bought 4 umbrellas, each costing $12. There's a group. He bought 2 hats, each costing $4. How much did he spend? Well, we have a group of 4 umbrellas. Each of those umbrellas cost $12. And then he bought 2 hats, and each hat cost him $4. So 12 times 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 1 is 4, and then we have 2 times 4, which is 8, and we can just add those products together. We have 8 plus 8 is 16, carry the 1, 56. He spent $56. Make sure you put that dollar sign if you're talking about money. And that was it. Yep, we got a back page. Jack bought 4 umbrellas, each costing $12. Did they just repeat that? No. They changed it. They changed it. This one should be pretty easy, though, because it's very similar to the problem before. So we have 4 umbrellas, each costing $12. We know 4 times 12 is 48 because we just did that. He bought 2 hats, each costing $6 this time. So 2 times 6 is 12. We take those products and we add them together. 8 plus 2 is 10, 5, and 6. Spent $60. What are the factors of 30? Woo, remember, factors are the numbers that we multiply together, not the products. So what numbers do we multiply to get 30? Remember, we always start our factorization with the 1 because all numbers have a factor of 1. 1 times 30 is our first one. What's another one? Well, 30 is an even number, so it must be divisible by 2. But how do I test that? I can divide it, or I can use mental math and think, okay, half of 30 is 15, and so 2 times 15. 3 times 10. We know 4 doesn't go into 30 because 4 times 8 is 32, so we don't have enough wiggle room there. What about 5? Well, our number ends in a 0. Remember, all numbers that end in 0 and 5 are divisible by 5. So we have 5 times 6. And is that all? It is it. That's all. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 factor pairs. Now remember, when we say factor pairs, that's the two numbers together. If we want to know individual factors, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 4 factor pairs and 8 factors. Which factors do 22 and 12 have in common? Well, they're both even, so we know they're going to be divisible by 2. They do not go into 3. 3 goes into 12, but 3 does not go into 22. 4 goes into 12, but 4 does not go into 22. 5 doesn't go into either. 6 only goes into 12. 7 doesn't go into either. 8 doesn't go into either, and 9. So it's just the 2. Number 10, determine whether, can you see okay? All right. Determine whether each number is prime or composite. Remember, a prime number is a number that only has one factor pair, and that's usually 1 in itself, or always 1 in itself. Composite numbers have more than one factor pair. Like if we go back up here, we can definitely say that 30 is a composite number because it has 8 factors and 4 factor pairs. So the number 14, is it prime or composite? Well, we know that 14 has 1 times 14. We know that there's 2 times 7. So we have more than one factor pair, so we're going to circle composite. But what about 11? We have 1 times 11. But is there any other numbers that we can multiply to get 11? No. So it's prime. 16, we have 1 times 16. We have 2 times 8. Whoa! That's what happens when you don't move around enough. The lights go out. We have 2 times 8, and then we have 4 times 4. So that's way more than one factor pair. So that's composite. 5, we have 1 times 5, and that's the only pair that we can multiply together in order to get 5 as a product. So we're going to circle composite. And then we have 9. We have 1 times 9, and then we have 3 times 3. So that is also a composite number. Going down, find the product of 340 and 6. Well, you can do the standard algorithm way. 340 times 6, and go through and say 6 times 0 is 0, 6 times 4 is 24, carry your 2, 6 times 3 is 18, 19, 20. Or you can make an area model. Mine's going to be a little small. I hope you can see it. So we're going to break 340 up into expanded form. 300 plus 40. Yeah, we'll leave it like that. Alright, so we have 300 times 6 and 40 times 6. We're going to take those partial products. 6 times 3 is 18, and we have 2 zeros. 40 times 6, 6 times 4 is 24, and we have 1 0. And then we're just going to add those partial products together. That's 10, carry 2,040. Find the product of 2,749 and 4. Same thing, 2,749. We're going to multiply that by 4. This is standard algorithm. 9 times 4 is 36. 4 times 4 is 16, 17, 18, 19. Remember, you got to add in those what you carry. 7 times 4 is 28, plus the 1 is 29. 4 times 2 is 8, plus the 2 is 10. Or we can put it in an area model and say 4 times 2,000 plus 700 plus 40 plus 9. Just going to extend that out a little bit. There we go. So 2,000 times 4 is 8,000. 700 times 4 is, I'm going to do this down here. 7 times 4 is 28, and we have 2 zeros. Then we have 40 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 1 0. And then we have 9 times 4, which is 36. And we just add through. 6 plus 3 is 9, 9, and 10. Select all the expressions that have a product of 560. I'm going to leave this to you guys. You can go through, solve them just like we did these. You can use standard algorithm or you can use the area model. And I'll let you do the bottom one as well. You should be able to do that from what we did up here. Alrighty, and that concludes day 3 lessons. I saw so far we have 14 students in iReady that have been getting on it all week. We have 53 students in our class. The vast majority of us do have the ability to get onto iReady. I want to start seeing a lot more participation. I'm starting to see a few students starting to comment in Google Classroom, and that's great. We need to continue to do that, all right? I hope you guys had a great and productive Wednesday. I will be posting Thursday's videos this evening for you guys. And as always, if you have any questions, if you need to reach out for me for something, just let me know. All right? Bye.